Tonight's show is brought to you by none other than justinform.com, a social media site that doesn't steal your data, doesn't track you around the internet. It's a great site, guys. It's run by activists like yourself, truth seekers like yourself, commentators, journalists. We got it all there. Come to justinform.com, become a member, and tell them that Tim Black sent you. Yeah. Truth bomb activists, Tim Black's Wolf Pack, Just Inform, my whole crew. Let's go, guys. Hey, Dolores. Hey, Thomas. Hey, Even. All right. I'm having too much fun. Too much fun over there. Got to be a limit to how much fun you can have on Thursday. Hey, guys. How you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black at Night Show or Tim Black at Morning Show. What time is it? Almost. It's really late. It's very late, guys, but I figured, hey, I'm just getting back in the swing of things, and we got a whole house full of people still here. It's crazy, but hey, the news is the news, and this is going to be cut up into segments and put out onto the YouTube and on Roku and other social media platforms so that you can check it out. So let's just get into it, man. Today or tonight we have a lot of stories. One of the stories we're going to cover is the pay-go vote. Now, we talked about the pay-go vote, the rule that you have to pay as you go. You have to balance the books, so to speak, as you go. And this was up for debate. A lot of people talked about it, and the House voted on it today. And we're going to talk about the results of the pay-go vote right here on TBTV. We're also going to talk about Elizabeth Warren drank a beer. She drank a beer on Instagram, and a lot of people are talking about that. So we're going to chime in with what we think, and we're also going to watch Elizabeth Warren drink a beer right here on TBTV. And since we're watching people drink beer, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez dances. They won't let her do nothing. We're going to talk about that right here on TBTV. What else we got? Bird Box. This is a dumb, very dumb, gag going on right now. What do they call it? A challenge, right? About the Netflix movie starring Sandra Bullock, Bird Box. We're going to talk about that very briefly. Right here on TBTV. What else do we have? Bernie Sanders is accused of being a sexist. We're going to talk about it right here on TBTV. And last but not least, Nancy Pelosi wins the Speaker's gavel once again. Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Welcome to it. We're going to get into it right here on TBTV. But first, let's go, guys. Wow. Oh, man, we also got to do the government shutdown. We're going to get to it, though. We'll get to the government shutdown. Let's do this. All right, so do I have a government shutdown situation? Because I want to bring people up to speed on what's going on with the government. Let's start there. All right, guys, so let's talk about the government shutdown right here on TBTV. We got to talk about the government shutdown. A lot more is going on with that than you may imagine. Some people may have forgotten, but if you're a federal worker, I'm sure you're well aware of what's happening with the government shutdown. It's still shut down. House okays a spending bill to reopen the government, but the shutdown is expected to continue. The newly minted House Democratic majority pushed through a series of spending bills on Thursday to reopen the federal government, but congressional Republicans dismissed the effort as pointless political theater. Yeah. They say that the White House threatened president veto. The White House threatens a presidential veto if they don't fund the border wall. You can come up with all these little plans, Democrats, but if you don't fund that wall, well, then you can't go to the ball. And when we say ball, what they mean is people can't pay their bills. That's what they mean. So basically, they're holding citizens hostage, their paychecks hostage, their livelihoods hostage, if there's no border wall allocation. Just hours after Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi reclaimed the Speaker's gavel and Democrats returned to power for the first time in 8 years, the House sought to end the 13-day shutdown by voting 241 to 190 to fund 8 of the 9 shuttered departments. The legislation would fund all 8 departments for the remainder of the fiscal year, which ends September 30th. It passed largely along party lines, with 7 Republicans joining Democrats in supporting said bill. So let's just stop there for a second, guys, and kind of take this all in. Now, we can say this seems like a dereliction of duty for government. I mean, if the Republicans and Democrats can't get along well enough to come up with, I don't know, a bill or a way to handle finances, maybe we shouldn't have them. Like maybe we should use our power, if we have any, use our power to revoke their tenure. I mean, they can't balance the books. Now, I know I hear all my MMT people right now saying, Tim Black, you don't need to balance anything. They just print more money. I understand that. But in this cuckoo world that we live in this fake reality, right, people think they do. And this is the rules in which they govern or they pretend to govern. Here's the thing, guys. I can't see a reason why the Republicans think that they can get away with this. Won't this at some point affect Republicans? I mean, it's just so long the conservatives will go, teach them a lesson. Teach them a lesson. It's just so long that's going to work. Aren't there some conservatives or some Republican voters or Trump supporters who are sitting at home cooling their heels? I mean, everything's fine for a couple of days, but after a while, don't the walls start to close in? Maybe some people are spending too much time with their spouses or with their kids at this point. You know, start going a little batty. I'm just saying, like, nothing's good for a long period of time that you haven't been planning for. Did people plan their finances around the possibility of being out of work come the first of the year? It's like the worst time, I would think. Don't you? I mean, right after the holidays, the dinero's running low. Probably the worst time. That's how I see it. Now, check this out, guys. Now, the bill that they did come up with, or they say it's a waste of time because Donald Trump won't sign it. The legislation includes $1.3 billion for border security, but none of the funding that President Donald Trump is demanding to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. The temporary funding would enable the department to reopen and buy more time for Congress and the White House to disclose or resolve their standoff over border and wall funding. Now, it's something I noticed while I was doing research for this segment. There are a lot of people talking about this time. A time in the not-so-distant past when the Democrats were offering like $43 billion towards a wall. And when I dug a little deeper, I don't know if you heard this, but as I dug a little deeper, I realized that that wasn't actually true. They offered $43 million towards immigration reform. Part of that was to create a pathway to citizenship for dreamers or those folks who might need to move into permanent citizenship. It wasn't for the wall, it was for immigration reform or wall-related stuff. but immigration, but not building a wall. So that's not what the 2013 money was allocated for. And I've heard a lot of conservatives and Republicans talk about this, and I just want to set the record straight. I mean, go to PolitiFact or look it up for yourselves and you'll find out what I did. Hey, if the Democrats said they were going to build a wall, and don't get me wrong, I do understand and I am keenly aware that there was a time when Democrats weren't talking the same vein as Republicans on this matter. They didn't use the word wall, they used the word barrier, structure, and fence, okay? And even now, the Democrats are reportedly saying, hey, well, we can't cave in on the wall, we can't give Trump the wall money if we want to be reelected to our positions because our base is very pissed off. So the Democratic base is what's holding the Democrats, the establishment Democrats, in place right now without caving in. That's what's happening. But if they think they can get something that can kind of offset, it's sort of like someone asked me today, they said, Tim Black, what do you think about this particular politician? I said, it seems like a pretty good politician. He's a good guy, but he is a politician. Yeah, that's what he is. So, got to kind of take that in vain. And what I mean by that is politicians tend to do things to benefit their careers or politician opportunities. So I believe that the Democrats, especially based on what I've been seeing lately, these last few years, since I woke up, they'll make a move. They'll cave in if it suits them. Now, something else I discovered that I found kind of interesting. This is the 4th longest government shutdown in the history of shutdowns. Yeah, guys, this has been going on for 13 days. And there's really no end in sight. The other 3 times it was longer. Only 3 times there has been a longer shutdown. One was in 2013. That went for 16 days. Another, September 30th through October 18th, 1978. That went for 18 days. And the longest government shutdown on record was December 5th, 1995 through January 6th, 1996. And that was a whopping 21 days, which is only 7-8 more days from where we are right now. So that's the update. The Democrats are coming up with interesting ways to try to end the shutdown, but Donald Trump, not interested. At least not yet. Now, I stated, for the record, guys, that I think Trump's going to get his money for his wall. I think it's a waste of money. I think there's better ways to spend money. But I feel that way about war, too. We'll see if the Democrats agree with me or not. Let's see what happens. All right. Give it up for that. We got a lot happening here, guys. You guys want to go here to Nancy Pelosi? Nancy Pelosi, I say, yeah, let's jump over to Nancy Pelosi. This is where I remind you that this show is brought to you by my friends at justinformed.com and my friends at timblacktv.com. Hey, that's my website. That's my website, guys. That's right. So become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack by going to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live, or joining right there on your YouTube device or on the website. You can just become a Wolfpack member right there and get yourself some truth, some non-party line toting real news. That's what we're talking about. No line party toting stuff going on here. All right. So, Nancy Pelosi, the Pelosmeister here. Here we go. Many of you know by now that Nancy Pelosi has won her second her return at bat as the House Speaker, and she will lead the Democrats in confronting Donald Trump. That's right, guys. Nancy Pelosi has just set a record. She just made history today by being able to do that. I think she is the first speaker to do a back-to-back or return visit to get to reclaim the job in 60 years. Yeah, big deal. Pelosi was elected Thursday as House Speaker. The only woman has held the office and now one of the few elected officials who have returned to it. The last time a speaker regained the gavel was more than a half century ago. See, I was right. That was 50, 60 years ago. And look, guys, and I understand, like, I think we should acknowledge that there are people who are going, okay, you know what, this is a big deal. I'm not one of those people, though. I mean, I acknowledge that it's a big deal to those people, but to me, it's not a big deal. Because to me, I think the Democratic Party's fundamentally gone in the wrong direction. It needs to make some changes. It needs to alter its message. It needs to actually get a message that's not just, we hate Trump, because that's not a message that resonates with people. And stop using the message of, she black, so she right, or this person's trans, so let's go with that, or any of that stuff, because we need people with substance. Yeah, you can get screwed over by anybody with any color, any orientation, any religion. So I think the Democratic Party needs to move in that direction, and I'm going to do everything I can to kind of push them that way. So, but I do acknowledge that there are women who are proud of Nancy Pelosi for various reasons. One of the reasons is because they don't know much about Nancy Pelosi, other than she's a woman. Like, if they knew that Nancy Pelosi doesn't support Medicare for all, which over 70%, almost 80% of Americans support it, she won't fight for it. Maybe they changed their tune. Maybe. Anyway. Nancy Pelosi made some comments today after being reelected. She said, none of us are indispensable. Except for her, apparently. She said that she was very good at what she did, and very good at what she did. In politics, particularly in the Democratic Party, and it could be the same in the Republican Party, what makes you good at what you do in the eyes of other Democrats, establishment Democrats, is how much money you raise. It's got nothing to do with what you pass, what legislation you co-author or co-sponsor. It's about how much money can you make the phone calls to bring in the dollars. It's sort of like Donald Trump's The Apprentice. Like, people who won The Apprentice, well, people raised money. You guys remember that? It'd be like they do an event. The whole thing was about how many people you could get to come up and give money to the charity or cause. And that's the person who won the relay or the competition or whatever. And the other one had to go on the fake elevator that didn't go anywhere. Remember that? Well, that's real life for the Democratic Party. It's also the same way for the Republican Party. I mean, Betsy DeVos is only Secretary of Education because she gave millions and millions and millions of dollars to the Republican Party. But you don't care about that stuff, do you? In accepting the gavel, Pelosi gave nod to the new era of divided government with the pledge to reach across the aisle in this chamber and across the divisions across our nation. She said the floor of the House must be America's town hall, where the people will see our debates and where the voices will be heard and affect our decisions. You know, I'm trying to figure out why the Democrats like to tout that they're going to reach across the aisle. See, a lot of stuff's been getting done by the Republicans. Yeah. I mean, Democrats and anybody who opposes the budget cuts, opposes Donald Trump's tax increases, or I should say, well, effectively a tax increase, effectively for poor folks, working folks. That's what's going to happen. You do know that the people who make out on those tax breaks that Trump gave are the rich, the wealthy, and the corporations. All the way through 2027. I mean, not saying that eventually a Democrat might not get elected back in and be able to alter this stuff. But what I'm saying is, the Republicans don't need Democrats to reach across the aisle. What needs to happen is Democrats need to grow a damn spine and thwart bad policies. And considering they caved today on pay-go, this is a bad start. Yeah, not a good start. Started the movie stepping on the landmine. Just boom. Hey, isn't that the guy? Like, that's the guy. Isn't that the guy, baby? Oh, he dead already. Okay. Already gone. Don't worry about it. That's the Democratic Party. They blew themselves up immediately. In outlining Democratic priorities, she talked about lowering healthcare costs, investing in the green infrastructure, and restoring integrity to government. But she also supported the pay-go rule, which won't allow the Democratic Party to come up with legislation unless they get a waiver to spend any money, unless they could, do a tax increase to cover it. Like, which puts a big bug in the ointment. A cow, some horse candy. What do you call it? They just shit it all. They just shit the bed. That's what they did. Okay, so the Green New Deal is basically done. How you gonna do a Green New Deal when that's definitely gonna, increase the deficit? I mean, not that people cared about the deficit when they were giving money for war, but the games we play, right? We shouldn't be impeaching for a political reason, and we shouldn't avoid impeachment for a political reason. We shouldn't be impeaching for a political reason. That's what she's saying. We shouldn't be impeaching for a political reason. Are there people watching this who actually believe this shit at all? Come on, you don't believe that, do you? That the Democrats would never let politics get in the way of their decisions to impeach Donald Trump? Come on, guys. Come on. You don't really believe that, do you? You can't be that naive. And look, it's political parties. The Republicans, Nancy, she over here, Nancy. A lot of these people. We shouldn't be impeaching for a political reason, and we shouldn't avoid impeaching for a political reason. Everything you do is for a political reason. Not for your constituents. People that voted them in. They don't care. All right. Talking about the Mueller investigation, and a core group of rank and file Democrats has hungered for new leadership, saying it's time for a new generation to take the helm. They're tired of the Republican attack ads featuring Pelosi that are constantly run against them back home, and they worried she would drag on efforts to keep the majority in the next election. They enlisted some of the newcomers from the freshman class to their ranks to try to stop her from regaining the gavel, but they were unsuccessful because Pelosi wins again. Yeah. I remember about a year ago, I was in a debate. I didn't know it was going to be a debate about Nancy Pelosi. I called into someone's show, smug SOB, to talk about progressives and more centrist type middle of the road Democrats like working together in media, and it turned into, having to, sort of justify my existence as a progressive, which is what I called myself at the time. I don't know what I am now. But anyway, the idea, the story of Nancy Pelosi came up, and I brought up how Nancy Pelosi's been manning the ship of a ship that keeps hitting the rocks and taking on water. And I was told how great Nancy Pelosi is, how amazing she has been. And I just don't see it. So if you're one of those people that think that Nancy Pelosi getting the gavel again, if you're one of those people that believe that doing the same thing that's been failing is the thing that the Democratic Party should do, please leave your comments below. I'd love to hear it. We'd love to read about it. See, the last time I checked, Nancy Pelosi was at the helm when 1,000 seats were lost in the last decade. That was Nancy Pelosi. I'd like to know why it's a win to bring that person back. That's all. I'm just saying. I mean, people get fired for way less. Then whose fault is it that the Democrats keep losing? Whose fault is it that they don't fight for like really fundamental change? Now, I know we could blame the donors and we could blame money in the politics. That's real talk. We could do that. But I'm saying there are people on the other side of that that allow that to happen. There's a thing called courage and fortitude and standing up. When Nancy Pelosi came into office, she was not a multimillionaire. She had money, but now she's rich as hell, and she's only ever been a politician. How'd that happen? How did it happen? She doesn't create movies. She's not making movies. She's not a rock star. She's not dropping beats and putting patents on new inventions. She's not in the cryptocurrency. How did Nancy get so rich being a public servant? Huh? How? How'd that happen? Well, I don't know, Tim. You're just a sexist because you have logic. All right. Let's go into this. See that? Pause. See that young lady dancing there? That's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's who that is. You know her. She's dancing. Let's see if we can rewind that a little bit. See if we can get a good I'm kind of in the way, I guess. I don't really want to put her in here too sexy-like, because there might be some Republicans watching who want to make a big deal out of it. All right, so here we go. So anyway, I'm going to show you the clip. Because you might not have seen this. It's very interesting, guys. I guess I don't have any... I guess I really don't need notes for this, do I? All right, so what I'm going to show you is a clip that was posted by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the freshman congressperson in New York's 13th, or was it 14th? 13th? 14th district. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she posted this on her Twitter, or was it Instagram? One of those. She posted it on social media. This is from her high school days. Check it out, and then we'll talk about it. There's music, but I'm not going to play it. It's a music video that she made when she was in high school. There are other people in the video. It's not just her. The entire video is up on YouTube. See that other guy dancing? It was several guys and young ladies. There you go. There goes another young lady. It's like a happy, if you feel happiness is the rule, because I'm happy. All right. I should not have done that. I should not have done it. I ruined it. Singing on that thing. All right, so that's it. I know it's no big deal, right? It's like, what is that, right? She's fully clothed. She's not twerking. Nothing. This is very G-rated. You know, but of course, people who don't like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez want to make a big deal out of it. Here's the thing. The guy who posted this on Twitter, he retweeted this, right, to a bunch of conservatives. It was a QAnon person. At least that was his handle, QAnonymous or something. his comments is, above the video was like, look at this dingbat Alexandria Ocasio dancing like an idiot or something. Well, when it was put up, it was, I guess in the very beginning, maybe people were like, yeah, this is goofy. But then it started getting around and people looked at it and they felt the same way you probably feel, which is, what's the big deal? It's just a teenager in high school dancing to a song with her friends it's not even a Kill the Police. It's not even the Police song, It's not even Smoke Weed Every Day. It's just a song of white people and Latino people and black people dancing with no real, negative connotations at all. There's no bumping and grinding. Nothing. I mean, there's nothing in this video. And see, when you make a big deal out of nothing, meanwhile, your first lady, Melania, has pictures of her butt-ass butterball, like nothing on. And you say, we can't talk about her. We can't talk about her. And to talk about her is to shame women. But you shame Alexandria Ocasio for being a high school student in a very goofy video, a friendly, jokey, adorable video, some would say. I think it's cheesy, but that's what I want my daughter to be when she's in high school. I want my daughter to be cheesy. Be cheesy, please. Don't be the opposite of cheesy. I don't want you being, please, no. I want you safe. I want you to get through school. And this is what dads want. Not saying it's right, but it's what we want. We don't have to worry about our kids. And I think that this video was not a big deal, guys. But what happens when you make a big deal out of nothing, you do nothing but help the person you're trying to hurt. So, as these people posted this video of Alexandria Ocasio dancing, and they try to degrade her for it and bash her for it, the opposite happened. People clapped, and they rallied around her. Here's the deal, guys. I'm well aware that there are people who don't trust Ms. Cortez. And I get it, I don't trust many people either. I've learned the hard way, okay? But be patient, Don't try to make something be the destruction of a human being. Don't try to fabricate. Just watch and see what happens. I understand you don't want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and you're like me, you're jaded a little bit. I force myself to give people the benefit of the doubt. Because if not, I come off like you, which is kind of forcing the issue, and then you get an egg on your face. If someone's a bad person, if someone's a sellout, if somebody's a liar, if someone's a criminal, a crook, a thief, a faker, whatever they are, it will come out eventually. Eventually it's going to come out that they're a horrible human being, that they're not who they say they are. Because to keep up a fallacy takes a lot of work. Eventually people's true colors, they show. This is too much to keep faking it. That old adage, fake it till you make it. Yeah, you got to make it pretty quick because faking it takes a lot of work. It's better just to work on your problems, work on your issues, be yourself, and just don't have to fake it. So anyway, this is the video of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez dancing like a kid. She was a kid, and now she's a member of Congress. So shove it. All right. People so bitter, man. All right. You guys want to talk about Bernie? All right, let's do it. Oh, goodness. All right. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders he has not announced that he's running in 2020, but that he is very much considering it, and some people are kind of pissed off about that. They want Bernie to go ahead and throw your hat in the ring. Bernie, stop playing around. But while he's been waiting, other people have jumped out of the gate. A couple of people have announced that they're running. Joe Biden, Senator Elizabeth Warren all threw their hats in the ring. Also, this hesitation by Bernie Sanders, this hesitation move, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a little fake. Roll the shoulder like Holyfield. No, that's Floyd Mayweather, right? Defensive move they pull in boxing. Yeah. Well, it also hurts you in some ways because sometimes people set you up, and sometimes people take the initiative and catch you and put you on your heels, and that's sort of like what's been happening with media, because Bernie's not really running and they're already launching attacks on him. Now, we know last year, towards the end of 2016, they were talking about Jane Sanders. They were saying Jane Sanders had this fraud case and she was going to go to jail and Bernie was going to go with her, and then they went to court and nothing happened. It's like, oh, God, Bernie's going to go to jail. You watched him, Black. You Bernie bro. Watch him go to jail. Watch Jane go to jail. She's a crook. And then at the end of the day, nothing happened. He got thrown out. She was found not to be no fraud or nothing, and no one talked about it. I mean, I talked about it, but the people that were making a big deal about it suddenly lost interest in the case once he was no longer running. It's all of a sudden gone. Funny how that happens. Well, anyway, back to this now. So now we have allegations that Bernie Sanders may be a sexist. Yeah, they're saying Bernie may be sexist. They say that, they say he may not be the most responsive, most concerned with the feelings of others, particularly those of the female gender. Here's the story. It's called Hamstringing Bernie Sanders, accused of ignoring sexual harassment in campaign as 2020 looms. Accusations that Bernie Sanders ignored claims of sexual harassment during his 2016 presidential campaign have surfaced just as Democrats are starting to look at candidates to challenge Donald Trump in 2020. A story published by the New York Times on Wednesday claims that complaints by female campaign staff about pay disparity and sexual harassment were ignored or brushed aside during the 2016 insurgent bid for the Democratic presidential nomination. And then we have a couple of tweets here from the New York Times. Women who worked for the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2016 say complaints of sexism and mistreatment were not addressed, and that it could hinder a 2020 bid. So, there have been people who have come out and said that they were harassed while they worked on the Sanders campaign as volunteers or as staff, and that they reported this, and they didn't have really a good structure in place for the reporting, so that's one problem. The other problem was once it was reported, people kind of ignored it. Nothing was done. In fact, they had insult to injury. People were like, well, hey, one woman says, when she reported, they told her, hey, well, you would like it if he was a little bit younger. There was something wrong with you if you don't want somebody hitting on you. You like guys, don't you? What's wrong with it? I mean, it's like crazy stuff, right, that you should not do. Now, these are allegations. I don't know if they're true, but that's what people are saying. Bernie Sanders was in an interview with Anderson Cooper where Anderson asked him about it, and Sanders said that he was very proud of the campaign he ran in 2016. He said, we started at 4% in the polls. We ended up winning 22 states, 13 million votes. I think we changed the nature of political discourse in this country, raising issues that are now kind of mainstream, which were then considered extreme and fringe. And all of that is true. Every bit of what he just said was true, and it's also irrelevant. Yeah, it's irrelevant. Look, if someone says you had a problem on your campaign with sexual harassment, and you say, we ran a great campaign, we got a lot of votes, that don't have anything to do, like you just voted over the issue that we need to talk about. And that's part of the problem. right? Part of the problem, part of the allegations, one of the allegations is that he was unresponsive to the complaints. It wasn't that Bernie did anything, like he did. No one's accused Bernie Sanders of touching anyone in an inappropriate way or propositioning anyone. Just that his campaign was horrible when it came to handling allegations. It wasn't set up to handle it well, and that he was kind of busy and not really paying attention and kind of avoided these issues. And yeah, I kind of can see their point if now when this brought to your attention, you're like, but look over here. Look at this over here. Look what we did over here. And look, guys, I want you to know that that is a difficult subject to deal with, right? Like, I understand that if you could, you would rather not have to deal with personnel issues. I don't know about you, but dealing with personnel issues are never fun. Even the guy, like I've had problems dealing with personnel issues. And I don't even really have a staff. But it's like every time there's something, it's like, I can't get it. It's like it'll go well for a couple years or a year or 2 years, 3 years or whatever, and then it'll just blow up and then they're going, it just goes bad. So I'm a person who sometimes has problems dealing with personnel issues. I'm so busy working, I'm not paying attention. I don't know, I'm not always thinking how the other people are feeling. And for that, I apologize. I just want you to know that doesn't mean you're a bad guy. I don't think I'm a bad guy. Just sometimes I get so wrapped up in what I'm trying to do that I'm always thinking about the other person. And you have to think about other people. You have to. Now, before I threw this, there was something here. Bernie, so he made another excuse. He said he was a little busy running around the country in 2016 to be aware of the harassment claims. He explained that his campaign started with a handful of staff and it exploded to some 1,200 employees in just a few months. And I get that too, guys. I get it. I respect that response. But like I said earlier, that don't matter. That does not excuse you. It doesn't excuse your campaign. It doesn't excuse how things were handled, nor does it make anything better. It's an excuse, but it doesn't change anything. In fact, it just basically says, yeah, they're right. You didn't handle things appropriately. You didn't have things in place, and you got to do a better job because they will use everything they can to bring you down, Bernie. They want to destroy you, Bernie. You're bucking the system. You're challenging the status quo. You got to get this right. Hire people. Hire people to hire people and have levels and layers and procedures and all of that stuff. And I know you didn't think about it maybe in 2016. You probably as shocked as everybody else. I know I was shocked that a 73-year-old white guy, Jewish guy from New York or Vermont knew anything about what would, inspire, how old was I? Over 40-year-old black guy in Washington, D.C., but you did. You inspired me. And I didn't expect it. I don't think you expected the whole, for what to happen to happen. You probably expected to go out in the blaze of glory like Martin O'Malley. But that didn't happen. So yeah, you were caught flat-footed, unprepared. What I don't like is people acting like this is malicious. I don't think it was malicious. I think some people aren't as good at certain things. They're better at other things. And I think that holds true for all of us. Some of us are good at, driving. And some of us don't need to drive. Some of us get tickets all the time. You put them behind the wheel, they immediately get a ticket. Some people can cook. Some people can't cook. Some people can't boil water. Right? Like some people, but they can decorate or they can, they can count. They're good at math, but they're not good at cooking. Like there are things that people are good at, things people are not good at. And I'm going to say this because I think it needs to be said. I also believe that some people might have an axe to grind with you, Bernie. Yeah, like the money thing. Because before we're talking about you just not being responsive, you can't be paying guys a lot more money than you pay the women, and you can't pay the whites more than you pay the blacks. That's just like asking for trouble. Hey, can I have trouble? speaking as a black guy who took a lot of heat for supporting you, I'm going to need you to do a better job, bruh. Yes, sir, I'm going to need you to do a better job. Because, see, Bernie, you made me white. Hey, you made me white, man. No. That was a trending thing. Remember? Bernie made me white because they kept saying nobody black supported Bernie. I supported you. People were saying, you ain't black if you support Bernie. So I'm going to need you. Jane Sanders, I'm going to need you. I'm going to need everybody around Bernie Sanders to listen. And I'm going to need you to realize this is important. I took a lot of heat. All of us did. Who did more, like, you know, who got involved in the campaign. Let's do a better job. And I know you've already said you will. You're committed to doing a better job if you run. Let's just do a better job. I'm looking here. Michael Tracy's responding to this by bringing up the, saying how they were reigniting the Bernie Bro smear campaign all over again. And yeah, that is worrisome. That's frustrating. People are already using that. And I've heard a couple of people use it. It's horrible that they would do that, right? Like, that's unhelpful, right? The whole Bernie Bro thing. First, I'm a grown-ass man, and a lot of people who supported Bernie are grown-ass people. But to like, call them bros, it's not cool. But I guess, we called you Hillary dames, they'd be pissed off, right? Then we'd be sexist, but you can call it Bernie Bros, call you Hillary hotties. You're like, oh, that's degrading. That's degrading. See, hypocritical is what you are. But like I said, doesn't mean they don't have a point about the allegations. Also, Katie Halper, she commented by bringing up Hillary Clinton. On Hillary Clinton's campaign, there was a gentleman who was accused of sexual harassment, and they didn't fire him. They just relocated the person that complained, kept it moving. So, I'm not saying that makes it better, but I'm saying campaigns are corporations that are built quickly, and they need help. And Bernie needs help. So let's do a better job in 2020, because that boat will sink before it even gets going good if this happens again. All right. All right, guys. Now, this is where I tell you. This is where I tell you that this show is brought to you by Timberlake TV. .com. I also tell you that this summer I went on tour. I went on a comedy tour. I had a great time. I went to Portland, Oregon. I went to Salt Lake City, Utah. I went to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I went to Columbus, Ohio. I met a lot of you. And from that, I have footage. And from that footage, we created a DVD. It is my first ever comedy special. I'd like for you to go pick that up. Go to racistpeoplesuck.com. Get my DVD. You can stream it for a couple bucks, or you can buy it for $5. Do it today. It's funny. You'll love it. No one's safe from the truth. Thank you. Oh, next segment.
I'm going to get me a beer.
All right. All right, guys. Now this, God, that was loud. Oh, I'm right in the middle of. All right, so I'm about to share with you a video of Elizabeth Warren getting a beer. You just heard her. She's getting a beer. And she caught backlash from the beer. People said it seemed robotic, seemed fake. Let's watch it together, and then we'll talk about it. Elizabeth Warren getting a beer on a live stream on Instagram. Here it is.
I'm gonna get me a beer. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna get me a beer. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna get me a beer. Robert, my husband Bruce is now in here. You want a beer?
No, I'll pass on the beer.
You sure? Come over and say hello to folks.
Yes.
So, this is my sweetie.
Hello.
And I'm crazy. I love you too. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, enjoy your beer.
Who have we got here so far? Skylar, and 14 others. Hello, Denise. Hi. Fortnite. Good to see you. Who else have we got? Kenny, is that right? Kenny and the boys? Oh, glad to see you. Is that Greeny Goddess? Wow. That's a name I'd like to have. So, or as my mother always referred to me, the surprise. It's one of the things that we had to decide was when to do this. I never thought I was going to run for politics, any kind of elected office. As my mother always referred to me, I have.
All right, all right, all right. All right, so all right, so Elizabeth Warren, she drank a beer, man. What's wrong with that? A lot, all right? Especially if you're a Fox News watcher or if you're on the Fox News panel. They ridiculed Elizabeth Warren for drinking beer. Is alcohol the answer? Is that to appeal to male voters or something? What's she trying to do? A Fox News panelist criticized and ridiculed Senator Elizabeth Warren on Wednesday, outnumbered for drinking a beer in her kitchen during a New Year's Eve Instagram live stream. During a segment discussing Warren's presidential bid, progressive commentator Richard Fowler referred to a recent tweet from George Takei, who implied that it's sexist to compare her to Hillary, while no one's comparing Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders to failed nominees. He makes a good point. I think women have more standards than men do. I think that's just a fact, Fowler said. Women have to think about how they look, how their hair. Richard Fowler, I never understood why he's on so much stuff. Well, I just don't get it, man. I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand how butt kissing works. Like, why people butt kiss. Like, Richard, women have to worry about their hair, but they also, if they have nice hair, it helps them in their careers. Try being bald guy. Doesn't help that much. Anyway. So let's go back to, let's just get off that. Yeah. Anyway, so the Fox News panelists made fun of that part, and they should have made fun of that part. Hell, I'm making fun of that part. Richard up there just kissing women's butts, just women, I'm going to kiss your butt, women. It's all about that bass. All about that bass. Outnumbered co-host anchor Harris Faulkner interrupted. No, we don't. No, we actually don't have to think about it. Everybody else is thinking about it. See, there you go. There's a woman saying, no, Faulkner's wrong. I mean, Faulkner's saying, this guy, what's his name? I forget his name already. Richard Fowler's wrong. Anyway, so then they start talking about Elizabeth Warren and the beer. They said, okay, somebody tell me why beer? Why that beverage? Is that to appeal to male voters? I'm just wondering because she's playing the gender card. But I'm confused, Faulkner asked after the clip finished. All right, okay, so here we go, guys. Didn't we just have a Supreme Court nominee become a Supreme Court justice who talked always about the beers? Yeah, about the beers. And I know you, Faulkner, I'm pretty sure you defended him. Oh, it's just a guy drinking the beer. What's wrong with having a few beers? Yeah, Yeah, what's wrong with having a few beers? So let's not be sexist about it. Women can have beer, guys can have beer, it doesn't matter. Like, this whole idea that only Democrats pander, they do pander. And I think that's what Richard Fowler's trying to allude to. He should just said it straight out. Look, Hillary had hot sauce in her purse. That was pandering, and she even said, yes, I'm pandering. It was a moment of honesty from Hillary Clinton. It's not often. Won't see it again. In this video, yes, Elizabeth Warren is pandering. And yes, Supreme Court Justice, what's his name? I forget his name now. He was pandering too with all the beer talk. Oh, beers, I had beer. Beers. We used to have beer, all the beer. I mean, obviously Elizabeth Warren is putting one on. Come on, man. No one says I'm going to get myself a beer. Just get a beer. All you got to tell people I'm going to get myself a beer. Yeah. It just seemed fake to me. I mean, for the record, Elizabeth Warren is a very well-to-do lady. She was worth $10 million back in 2015 or something. I don't think she burned through that money at the casino or at the swap meet or spinning rims. I think she still has that money. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that there's no way that Elizabeth Warren would enjoy a regular beer, but I think she's more of a wine person. That's what I think. I think someone told her, hey, you need to compete with Alexandria Ocasio. You need to mix it up on the social media. And look, guys, the it factor should matter. I just don't see it. Like, I think a politician has to have certain gifts, you know? Like, be able to make people feel at ease. Elizabeth Warren didn't make anyone feel at ease. At least I didn't feel at ease watching her. I felt as awkward as she looked. There's no it factor. When is that going to play in? I don't hear an it factor in Elizabeth Warren or Cory Booker. I do sense it a little bit in Kamala, like she has range. How do these people get elected without being able to make people feel, good? Now, I want good policies too, but I'm just saying, like, it really shows in this video that Elizabeth Warren there's no smooth, there's no, charismatic, there's nothing. There's nothing. But anyway, hey, everybody's not, not everyone has the gift of gab, but obviously Elizabeth Warren is trying to. Someone told her it would be really cool if you got some beer and just let down your hair, and if you were really approachable on Instagram and open yourself up, and she does it, and bam! They close the door on her foot. They close the door on her glasses. They close the door on her nose. But all politicians, well, not all politicians, a lot of politicians try to schmooze, and some do it better than others, and I think Elizabeth Warren doesn't do a great job at it, okay? It's just what it is. It's all it is. It's the truth. All right. But she makes it look like she puts up a good fight for the middle class and the working class. So that's something Elizabeth Warren does do well. She just play to her strong suit. Just keep doing what you do. Do you. Double down on what got you here. Don't try to be this new person, because that's what I would tell her. Right? All right. Be you. Now, we did Ocasio dancing. We got a lot done here. Oh, the pay-go. Let's talk about pay-go, guys. Let's talk about pay-go. Now, this rule, right? This rule that we didn't want to see pass. Progressive caucus stands down on the pay-go battle. Yeah, they stood down. House of Representatives easily enacted a set of rules on Thursday that included the pay-go budget limits, which was loathed by progressives. Just 3 Democrats voted against it. This pay-go rule, right? Which means that you have to balance. Like, if you want to, introduce new legislation that's going to cost money. You got to come up with a way to pay for every dime of it, or you better get a waiver, which means you got to get a majority of the votes in the Senate, a 60-40, in order for it to pass, because the pay-go rules demand that. It's a law. So there are some progressives in the House who felt that this pay-go rule would hurt possibilities of new legislation being introduced that would actually be of a progressive nature. Those Democrats were Representative Ro Khanna, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Representative Tulsi Gabbard. Just probably the three most progressive of all the, Congress people. Anybody surprised that Tulsi Gabbard and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ro Khanna? Oh, I'm not surprised at all. So anyway, these progressives objected to the pay-as-you-go or pay-go rule because it would prevent legislation priorities like Medicare for All to come up for a vote unless they were paid for. And like the worst thing about this, and I just talked about this yesterday, guys. It's the thing that we complain about all the time. When I say we, I mean progressive, like-minded people who look at what we do as a country, look at where we put our money, and we complain about the places we don't put our money. Like we look at how much money we spend on war, and we say, why can't we spend that on, education? Why can't spend some of that money on, homeless people? Why can't we spend that money on, Medicare? Saving lives. Why do we have to spend money on taking lives? Can't we spend money on saving lives? And people go, no, you can't, Tim Black. That's a dumb idea, Tim Black, trying to preserve life. You do not have to balance your defense budget spending. Nah, you don't have to do that. Nor do you have to balance your subsidies to Apple and Walmart and Amazon and Xerox and Microsoft and John Deere and farms and the big plant, industrial plant farms. And, you don't have to justify that either. Just got to justify, Meals on Wheels and, subsidies for, education or any type of plan or program for seniors to get their medication. You got to justify that. You got to make sure you can balance that. Got to balance that. But, you can run like a drunk man in some tube socks on a linoleum floor. As long as it's, spending for war, no one cares. You ain't got to balance nothing. The Congressional Progressive Caucus effectively decided it was not worth tanking the entire set of rules governing the new Congress to jettison pay-go, since they had received assurances from Democratic leaders that the provision would always be waived to allow progressive bills to proceed to the House floor. Oh, so we got your word on it, right? We got your word. Their word is good until it ain't good no more, right? Yeah, they got your back till they don't have your back anymore. No one tells you that we don't have your back anymore. They just change the rules as they go, we can't do it. I thought you said you would. Well, I know things have changed. How easy it is to switch up. How easy is that? It's not worth getting them to do the right thing right now, so we don't have to worry about having to keep your word. Just do the right thing right now. But no, that would be, undemocratic. It's sad, guys. It's sad. And that's why I tell you guys, this is the part of the Democratic Party. This is what I've been seeing. This shooting themselves in the foot. And don't tell me it's an accident. No, they shoot themselves in the foot because they don't want to go to war with the Republicans. This is how you get a waiver from the war, is you shoot yourself in the foot on purpose so you can avoid active duty. That's what they're doing. That's what's happening. It's not an accident that they pull this type of crap all the time. This ain't nothing but a Jedi mind trick in order to fool the masses. Oh, we would have done it, but, we just can't. We just thought maybe we don't need to do it because... The Republicans, they do what they want to do when they want to do it. They do it. It's horrible. All right. Well, shout out. Props to Cortez. Props to Ro Khanna. Props to Tulsi Gabbard for being resilient and sticking to your guns. It's terrific. It is. Last but not least, guys, how many people saw the Bird Box on Netflix? There's a story about some type of monsters, like science. It's like a science fiction. These monsters take over the planet, and they appear to you. You see them, and they appear to be your worst nightmare, and it causes you to commit suicide. And the only way to avoid falling under this spell after seeing these monsters is to not see these monsters. And the way that they avoid it in the film is that they wear blindfolds. Now, this film has been doing very, very well on Netflix. I think it's the most watched Netflix film of all time, like out the gate. Like people are just lined up in front of their TVs all across the world watching Bird Box. Here's the thing. Can you believe that there are people who are actually walking out of their houses with blindfolds on, doing what's called the Bird Box Challenge? Yeah, you believe it, don't you? Because you believe it. Because you know, like I know, that there's some idiots. Whole lot of idiots. We got a whole lot of idiots who are willing to do a lot of stupid things in order to get any type of attention at all. That's what they do. See, it's not good enough to just sit and watch a movie and go, eat your popcorn, watch the movie. That's too much. Well, that's not enough. That's not enough engagement for you. You got to actually cut off the movie and go, wow, that was a great movie. Now, let me go do the most dangerous thing I can possibly do in order to pretend the movie's real. And we're not just talking about kids. There are grown-ass people doing this. I just want to say, if you're not a child, okay? If you're not a child, if you're an adult, and you think it's a good idea to drive your car with a blindfold on, or to walk your doggy with a blindfold on, or to operate machinery with a blindfold on, in order to win a challenge on the internet, you deserve something bad to happen to you. I'm not saying it should. I'm just saying, like, if something bad happens to you, you had it coming. Like, if you were to lose, like, I don't know, a finger. Not a thumb, because if you lose a thumb, you're really screwed, but like an index finger. Ring finger, index finger. Something, pinky toe. Like, if you, like you should. You should suffer for being stupid. Like something bad should occur to you. I mean, because you're now not the kids. Not kids, the brains aren't developed yet. It's got some, got to water the brain stem. It's not smart, but I'm talking about grown-ass people who would risk their lives and risk the lives of others in order to fulfill a stupid challenge on the internet. Those people are why. And you say, how'd we get Trump? How'd we get Trump? How'd we get Trump? How'd we get Hillary? How'd we get Hillary? There you go. We deserve it. That's how we get them. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in to the Tim Black and Night Show. I appreciate you. All right, tomorrow is the Freedom Friday show. Those of you who don't know, the Freedom Friday is a show where you get to call up and you get to say what's on your mind. You can call up, you get up to 5 minutes of talk time where you can talk about any story or any news item that's on your mind that you think needs to get more attention. Be here tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll do my best to be on time for that show. It's a great show. I'd really love to see you here. All right? 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Tim Black at Night Show. Now, don't forget, guys, I got coffee, Tim Black coffee that's on sale right now. Every 12-ounce bag or pound of Tim Black official coffee from Cafe do Paraiso /Tim-Black. Money is donated to a school in California. And also, a portion of the proceeds goes to the country of origin. So, go to cafeduparaiso.com /Tim-Black. Tim Black for coffee, Tim Black coffee, and get yourself a pound of coffee. It's great stuff, man. It's amazing. Best coffee. I've teamed up with one other vendor a couple years ago, and we had coffee, and it was good coffee too. But this gives to charity as well as makes great coffee. So I've upgraded. Know what I'm saying? All right, guys. Don't forget, go to racistpeoplesuck.com. Pick up my DVD. $3 a stream, $5 to own it. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. And bam, we out of here. Shout out to Giovanna. Thank you for the super chat, Gio. I appreciate you. People who support PayGo are economically illiterate and need to learn MMT. We have a sovereign, free-floating, non-convertible, flat fiat currency. Boom. Thank you.